Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Shadowverse Evolve Neutral Angel Fallen Angel deck for May 2025. This is a deck that I was inspired to build after watching the Shadowverse Flame anime, Mikado Shirogane being one of my favorite characters. Used a Fallen Angel neutral deck that was comprised of entirely neutral cards. I would say kind of as a nerf on himself, since he was such a strong character, using a neutral class deck, which was considered to be, a weaker deck or just support cards in general for other decks. But we are slowly getting more Fallen Angel and Angel support used by Mikado Shirogane in the anime in the upcoming set as well. So if the deck does well enough, I will make an update to the deck with the new support we get from the next following booster set as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for Shadowverse, you have at least 40 cards in a deck. So for the actual main deck, we're running 3 copies of our boss monster, being Angel of Chaos. It has Ward, and with this card, being able to banish 3 Fallen Angel cards in your cemetery, select an enemy follower on the field, steal it, and refresh it. This ability can be activated once per turn, and stolen followers are moved to your field. When they leave the field, they're put into the owner's corresponding zone. So a very fun card to use, basing it all upon what your opponent plays against you. If your opponent has a pretty powerful card on their field, being able to take that card for yourself to use makes this card a great offensive card in that aspect, and then also being able to have this card use Ward as more of a defensive card later on to use. So we're running 3 copies of this card since it's our go-to boss monster in the deck. With our next lineup of cards, needing a good number of Fallen Angels to use with Angel of Chaos, 3 copies of Angel of Darkness. With this card, you basically tap it and then put a Fallen Angel from your field into its owner's cemetery, select an enemy follower on the field, and deal it 4 damage. So not only are you setting up your Fallen Angel cards in your cemetery for you to use with your Angel of Chaos, you're also just being able to take out a good number of different followers that your opponent may have on the field as well. Another Fallen Angel includes the 3 copies of Harbinger of the Night, with 1 play point needed to evolve this follower, and Fanfare, being able to select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 1 damage. So just an easy 2-cost card to place onto the field, and then also being able to just deal damage to another follower on the field as well. We'll get to the Evolve cards when we go to the Evolve deck, but having more options for this card as well for its Evolve ability to be able to deal more damage on top of that. With the last of our 3 ofs for our Fallen Angel cards being 3 copies of Valkyrie of Chaos. With this card, once again, just needing a play point of 1 to evolve this follower, and also having Rush. So with all these cards, you have different, play points being able to be used depending on the time of the game to be able to just call out these different followers with their more generic options for their plays, giving you Rush with Valkyrie of Chaos, and then the evolved copy having Ward. For some other Fallen Angels, 2 copies of Seraph of Sin. You, for its Fanfare, select an enemy leader on or enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage. And last words, you select a Fallen Angel card that costs 3 play points or less in your cemetery and add it to your hand. So for the good majority of the cards we mentioned before, aside from Angel of Chaos being able to be added back, thanks to Seraph of Sin, we're only running 2 of this card though, because it's more or less needing that additional setup to be able to use in the cemetery for us for this card to reach its full potential. And we're also running 3 copies of Garuel, Seraphic Leo. This was the Digi-Friend for Mikado in the anime. So 3 copies of this card works very, very well for the actual setup in the deck as well. With its evolve point needing 1 to evolve this follower. And Fanfare, you may put a neutral follower that costs X play points or less from your hand onto your field and give it at the start of your end phase. Put this card on the bottom of the owner's deck. X equal the maximum play points. So what's cool about Garuel is that if you are at 7 maximum play points, being able to then put a follower that costs X play points or less from your hand onto your field. So then you can just play out your Angel of Chaos with a 4-cost Garuel on the field, playing this card and then gaining the additional card from your opponent for one of their followers to take thanks to this card as well. And then also the evolution on top of this card being able to bounce a card back to your hand, and then being able to avoid the put back on the bottom of the deck thanks to this card's on evolve. Now, being a neutral class deck, we also run a good number of generic neutral class cards to run as well, on top of the Fallen Angels that we run also. So one of them being a Fallen Angel itself, being Lucifer, with just a 1-of for this card. It is a 7-cost card with 0 to evolve this follower, having ward, and then being able to give your leader +4 back as well. So add back power, very strong there as well. One of our angel cards being Israfel, having strike and being able to deal 3 damage to each enemy leader on the field. Fanfare, giving your leader +4 with just 1 for the evolution. 1 Gabrielle, having ward for this angel. Selecting another follower on your field, give it +4 power, 3 plus shield, and assail on top of that, with the ward option as well. 1 Dark Angel Olivia with this card. It's Fanfare, choose up to 2 of the following. You can either gain 1 evolution point, give your leader +3, draw a card, or each opponent discards a card, and you get to choose 2 from these cards as well. So either your opponent can discard 1, then you'll gain an evolution point. It all depends on what you need for that specific scenario. And then some more 1-ofs include the Bell Ringer Angel, more defense and draw power on top of its evolution. The 1 Lyrial Archer Throne, being able to tap this card, and then also deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. And while this card's on your field, your leader doesn't take any ability damage. Added protection on top of that, with the last of our 1-ofs for more of our generics being our Bahamut. Once again, a big cost neutral follower, being able to destroy each other follower on the field. And if there are at least 2 enemy followers on the field, this follower can't attack enemy leaders. So added restriction, but then being able to evolve Bahamut makes it so the evolved form can also destroy amulets on the field as well, with the rest of our cards for our followers being 2 copies of Ephemera Sword Angel with Rush and Fanfare. If there are at least 3 cards on an opponent's field, give this follower +1 and assail. And then the 1 Valkyrie of Order with this card being Fanfare X, give this follower plus power and defense, where X equals the number of your choice. So depending on how much you want to pay for this card, it could be a pretty big card to rely on this play as well. Now for the spells that we run in the deck as well, 3 copies of Winged Inversion. You choose one of the following. You can either discard an angel follower, select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it, or you can discard a fallen angel follower and give your leader +3 and draw a card. So this all depends on what you want to discard off of this card for that play. Not only can this card help to set up more fallen angels in your cemetery for Angel of Chaos, it could also potentially destroy your opponent's cards if you discard an angel, which plenty of cards also just share the fallen angel / angel lineup as well. So you can choose what you want depending on what you discard off of this spell. 3 copies of Fount of Angels with this amulet being our setup for Fanfare. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an angel or fallen angel card from among them, add to your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. And then you can tap and bury this card, give your leader +1, activate only if there are at least 2 angel or fallen angel followers on your field. So the Fanfare comes in handy just with a cost of 1, making it an early amulet searcher. And then once you get more and more angels and fallen angels on the field, being able to then just set this card up for more defensive capabilities. The 3 copies of Stairway to Paradise. With this card, whenever a follower is put to your field or into a cemetery, put a soul counter on this card, and then you can once again tap this, put this card into the owner's cemetery. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 followers from among them, add them to your hand, put the remaining on the bottom of the deck in any order. This ability can be activated if this card has at least 6 soul counters on it. So with this card, every time you put a follower onto your field, you have this option. So with this very, very useful setup, you either have this or Fount of Angels for your amulets to be able to have as an early turn 1 setup to use also. And then more of the generic neutral cards that we run include the 2 copies of Biofabrication. You select a face-up evolved follower in your evolved deck, turn face down, and draw a card. So more recycle power for some of the selective 1-ofs also. And then 1 copy of Surefire Bullet, and then the 1 Fall from Grace as more generic options as well for our spells in the lineup. Now, you can try and run Angelic Snipe or Surefire Bullet as well in some spots as additional cards. For these spots, you can either add them as additional cards in the deck or drop down some of the 3 of numbers for some of the cards, or even mix around some of the more generic 1-ofs for the neutral monsters we run in the deck also. For the Evolve deck, we have the copy of Lucifer Evolve, having the deal 4 damage to each enemy leader at the start of your end phase, along with Bane. The 2 copies of Garuel, Seraphic Leo. On Evolve, you select another neutral follower on your field, return it to the owner's hand. So once again, with this can get around Garuel's fanfare for its original copy of itself, since that would send it to the bottom of the owner's deck. The 2 copies of Valkyrie of Chaos, having Ward on top of the original Rush from our other card, and then the 1 Harbinger of Night. Now this can be an additional second copy if you want to drop down one of the copies of Bellringer Angel Evolve that we're running in the deck, with the 1 copy of Israfel for the strike, deal 5 to each enemy leader on the field, the Bahamut for the amulet destruction, and then the additional copy of Bellringer Angel that we run in the deck as well for the actual copy of Bellringer Angel. Once again, if you wanted to run 2 copies of Harbinger of the Night, just drop down 1 copy of Bellringer Angel for that spot. And then for the plays that you can do in this deck, as I said, our main one goes on to setting up our Angel of Chaos, then going off of our opponent for whatever resource they have on the field as well. Garuel can help once we're at that play cost of 7, being able to just play 4 to play Garuel, and then use the play to put a follower that costs X play points or less from your hand onto the field, and then put it on the bottom of the owner's deck. So if you have that 7, you can just play out your Angel of Chaos, use it to then take one of your opponent's cards, and then have the added option with Garuel, as long as you have those additional play points, to play 1 to evolve it, and then on this play, select another neutral follower on your field, return to the owner's hand, getting around that place. Then we can play Angel of Chaos the following turn as well, having the Rush with Garuel, and then the additional 2 play points to either play 1 additional Fallen Angel as well to use as that also. Now remember, you have to use your Angel of Chaos by banishing 3 Fallen Angels, so you'll need those cards set up, which you'll be doing earlier on in the game as well before you do that. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I've been slowly getting into the Shadowverse Evolve game again since we've have 9 sets now. More diversity in the game for what you can do combo-wise, and just a bunch of different decks. And finishing the Shadowverse Flame anime definitely made me more interested in the game as a whole as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.